One of the benefits is there's a heck of a lot more CBD on it. When you have a difference between a pre-roll and a moon rocket, you're talking about a high amount of CBD compared to our regular pre-roll, because you have the added extra of the Kief and the oil and the flower, and so you're having 3 heavy hitters all on one joint instead of just the flower. Different ways you can utilize the moon products would be you can either, I guess, put it in your pipe and smoke it. If it's one of the moon rockets, just enjoy it as it is. But if it's the Kief, then you can put it on top of a pre-existing bowl. You can also put it in, you can also top a joint, you can also top like a cigar or any type of product where you're trying to enhance it, with that Kief. You could also bake with it if you really wanted to. And the nice thing about that Kief, it is semi-water soluble, where you could add it into a tea or a drink or what have you. You can also just eat it in the raw too. I've seen people do that. I've seen people dust brownies with it. Just other ways that you can utilize that product. The isolate, you can cook with it. I've seen people smoke it. It's not recommended because it does have a kind of a funky taste to it because of the way it was, just because it's an isolate. Yes. It's almost like, I wouldn't say it's tasteless, but it has like kind of a like something on the back end of it where you can tell it was processed.
Yeah, I think it's just the form that it's in, the fact that it's powder. It is able to combust at a higher temperature quicker, and it just doesn't lead to a good smoking experience. When it's recrystallized with terpenes, it tastes great.
If I was using isolate, it would be more for a cooking or cosmetics or that sort of thing. I definitely would not incorporate it with smoking. If you wanted to enhance a pre-existing oil, you could do that as well too, but I definitely wouldn't just smoke it as is. I would say the moon line in general, it is targeted more towards an audience that has already been familiarized with smoking flower. And so that most of the people who are going in for tinctures are not generally looking for flower. It's usually people who are pre-existing smokers. The benefits of full spectrum CBD is you're getting all the cannabinoids, and so when you have an isolate, you're just getting one. And so a full spectrum, I always recommend full spectrum over a zero product, and I hate saying it because I want people to explore these products and whatnot, but when you have all the cannabinoids, all of our proteins and enzymes in our endocannabinoid system, they work off of the lock and key method. And so if you have just one cannabinoid, it's like you just have one key instead of having all the cannabinoids in a full spectrum product where you have all the keys. These products are most definitely full spectrum. The isolate is not, though. The isolate is the opposite of full spectrum. That is what zero products are derived from, how they're made. And so they are certainly, isolate is the exact opposite of a full spectrum product. And so when you have the moon rocket or the moon dust or the moon rocks, you look on the cannabinoid profile on some of these C of A's, and it is a whole catalog of cannabinoids off the profile. You don't just get hits on a couple cannabinoids like you see, and all of them are lit up in some type of way. In regards to our lab reports with these products, whenever we receive products, it's pretty much standard protocol here at American Shaman and in manufacturing. You receive an active or a raw material. It has to be sent off to a third-party lab to ensure that it is ensure the cannabinoid profile, the terpene profile, to see if there's any pesticides or residual solvents or heavy metals or mycotoxins. And then once we receive that data, and it also has to be compliant on THC, most importantly too. But once we receive all this data and it's good to go, we will take that product where it's not in quarantine anymore, and we have it as an in-use product. And then we start formulating the products with batch sheets, and then we end up sending them off to production, and the quality control will look over them initially, and then production will work them in, and then quality control will check them 2 more times in between the whole entire run, and then they will be sent off to the shipping department for inventory.